right. I believe that the stream is going right now. I believe that the stream is going. It better be freaking streaming. I'm gonna be pissed. I'll be really upset if the stream's not going. All right. Let's go ahead and get everything rocking and rolling for today. Freaking love this. Freaking love this stuff, dude. It's very powerful. I honestly, man, at this point, I really love that what we've created is definitely top tier. I mean, it's probably one of the coolest things ever. Let me see.
It's working. We just gotta make money. Oh, sweet.
So you have access to VIX futures now, correct?
I gotta check my email from phone details. So I got to log in on the personal page.
Dude, I freaking love that thing. Destination. Please enjoy us. Okay, let's see.
Destination. Please enjoy us. So 27 February. Not that one.
It's funny. I was like, hopefully this will give the lot of you answers. Okay, let's go ahead and rock and roll, man. Rock and roll. Dude, first of all, it's hotter than a mother booster. It is really cooking in here. I'm cooking, bro. Whew, just cooking.
God, you should go to Germany. Germany, you're burning like a chicken.
Oh, put me in the oven and fry me up like a chicken. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on, we got a beluga. VIX futures, 338 lots. Oh, I smell ya. I can smell them. Wait. That's an actually. That's. Oh, calls all the way. I would not do puts anymore. I wouldn't even contemplate puts at this point. If I was even remotely contemplating puts, I would have to be retarded.
Well, we are retarded.
That is the point. That is the point. I'm trying to think. For something here. Okay, excellent. So, let's talk about it, Mike. Let's talk about it. So, I think that's really kind of the really cool thing, man, about a lot of these things, especially when it comes to just understanding futures, man. See if there's anything going to be showing up on your side with the delta divergence, because we'll look into it and see if there's anything there.
I'm reading. I just got it, so I'm reading. I probably have to start my damn thing.
You know, it's kind of interesting because a lot of people don't really actually quite understand just how impactful VIX is on index trading, dude. You know, sometimes, even for me, bro, like, it's a really good reminder of just kind of going and looking at volatility as a driving force of directionalized trading sometimes. Because, like, I know a lot of people just always try to say, like, gamma is not directional, but, dude, gamma can literally be directional. Because all that gamma is it's just probabilities of outcomes. I think the move today, man, that these guys did on VIX futures is really, really, really interesting. I think that there's something definitely very unique there in terms of VIX futures because, oh, Jeb, let me actually send you this if you want to watch. This is what I'm doing on YouTube. That way you can kind of see. I sent it to your Discord. Actually, go over here. But essentially, you know, where things kind of get to be really interesting, if you want to watch, you don't have to. I'm broadcasting to people. It's VIX positioning, you know, because you look at and like I said, Jeb, if you can come up with that delta divergence stuff too on VIX, sometimes I really do.
That's what I'm doing right now.
You know, sometimes I really do really do 100,000% feel like a lot of times ES futures literally have no idea what they're even going to do for the day. Like, it's the whole game is literally just about insider trading. And at the end of the day, the only closest edge that you and I, bro, or well, just about anybody's ever going to get in terms of insider trading is literally index positioning. But that's kind of crazy what they did today on VIX because that's really cool. How there was a monster beluga, bro, and that beluga just so happened to be at that one spot. They see that's the funny thing about today. They knew they wanted to buy, and somebody was setting it up, especially with this 7370 right here. Yeah, they knew they 100% wanted to buy today because they were setting it up with the 7370, the short puts, but then conveniently also being short calls over here on VIX. So that's kind of like the really unique and interesting combination. And then literally VIX, that gigantic beluga at 19 and a half, that's literally the main reason why everything is directionally so bullish because one, this guy's doing a huge order basically at positive gamma, and basically at the same time too, 7370. So see, they knew that they were going to do this buyback. That's why they were getting jumping jittery jacks right now. That's why they were getting jumping jitter jacks. It's kind of interesting thinking about it. It's pretty cool. So for those that are joining, so Jebediah, you are live with a good amount of people that are watching.
YouTube.
Yes, if you have anything that you want to add into it, because honestly, all I'm really going to kind of talk about is just kind of liquidity and kind of really what this is, and if anybody wants to chime in. So Master Jebediah is another quant. He does front end stuff though. He's more of the researcher, and I'm kind of the developer on everything. Master Jebediah is kind of what I would call a little bit of the ideas person because to understand why. Oh, what do we have? I'm watching you, VIX futures. I'm watching you. I'm watching you, VIX futures. Yeah, no, that was really cool, man. Just that gigantic player today on. Let me see here. Side. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, this guy right here today. That was like absolutely the sort of hint in terms of where the market was likely going to head towards on the day. Honestly, I fucking hate negative gamma though. Negative gamma is literally impossible to trade sometimes because negative gamma, everything's just so back and forth. But even then, dude, even with all the negative gamma and all the crazy volatility, there's still a directionalized edge that this market gives every single day. Hold on, what do we have over here? And then there was that dark pool player on SpyG. Let me check the other stream. It's a block trade on HIMS. I'm watching you, futures. I'm watching you. So Jeb, there is another massive play. It's going to be a full port short. Full port short SPX and VIX goes to 18 and a half. That's absolutely, yeah, that's absolutely where volatility is going to expand again on the market for the day. It's absolutely the spot where the market is going to, not necessarily maybe for today, but just over a period of time. I think the fact that these customers, if you look at the positional hedging, long in the money calls, long in the money calls. Oh, actually, that was interesting. That's long in the money calls and long in the money puts. What's so special about this one? Oh, hold on. What do we have? Big belugas on ES futures. Yeah, it should. This should force them to keep chasing. And more than anything, there's no short until VIX futures can go down probably to here. So just let the market do its thing. Just like Sergeant Johnson says, Jebediah. Go ahead. Do your thing. But this is what's really cool about positional data is like sometimes, I mean, wow, first of all, I love this move. I love this fucking move. Because this just supports the idea that volatility is really the main driver on things. And what I love about this 4-set view, guys, if you guys are watching, is you can see basically the charm heat maps. You can see the gamma view of things. And, you know, there's a lot of other people out there that have these heat maps. Now, I don't know if they have this specific build of these kind of heat maps. This is definitely don't have this. Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think they definitely have something like this. because this is actually computing the live vol curve, like literally every, what, 1 second or something. And then we're also showing Vega and Volga, which is significantly huge, I think. Let me actually double check if we're showing the 0DTs on these. Okay, good. Yeah, because if you view all the positional data for Vega and Volga, it kind of gets a little bit skewed out. So you kind of have to look at the 0DTs only. Yeah, no, it's true. Nobody has this fucking shit. Nobody that I'm aware of. But essentially, all that this really kind of tells us is, well, obviously, these are just heat maps. These are just rough suggestional estimates of how bad or how dangerous things can kind of trade and move. But Vega and Volga are kind of the more really interesting, dangerous ones, because what Vega actually tells us, guys, let me just go over here so you can kind of also read this too if you just have your little finger over it. Vega basically just tells you the dealer's volatility exposure on these index options. So if you're in a green area, that just basically means any spike of volatility on VIX or even SPX that goes up or down, it's basically going to be contained. So if the market were to slingshot down in green Vega, they'll very likely sit there and say, okay, let's chill out, take a chill pill, let's buy it back. It'll be very calm. Volga is just more so the convexity of that Vega to some extent. So think of it like this a little bit. So think of Volga in a way almost kind of like Gamma in some sense. Volga just basically says if Vega is in red, right? So this is where dealers are, I think, short. Let me just double check. I think this is where they're short. Yeah, dealers are short volatility, so they're going to buy into a spike. So if SPX, think of it like this: if SPX is taking a nosedive, dealers are like, keep taking that nosedive, raise implied volatility, make those out of the money puts more expensive, right? And this isn't just for 0DTs, this is for everything. So red Vega is not necessarily directional, it's just very environmental. It's very dangerous when you're in red Vega. It's even crazier if you're in red Volga, because red Volga says whatever you're doing with Vega, intensify it even more or make it concave. So that just basically says, hey, if we're in a green area of Volga, Vega will be suppressed no matter what Vega decides to go and do. So the implied volatility of those options that are out of the money, in the money, all that fun stuff, you won't be able to get such massive returns. Versus when you're in red Vega, you can get much significantly larger returns on your option trades. So let's say, let's look at an example here, because there's been some options that I've been kind of eyeballing today, these 0DTs. I've been kind of watching these ones all day. The 7380 calls, I wanted to buy them for like 18 bucks. As of right now, they're like 45 in the money, right? And a lot of the out of the money 0DTs on really both sides today have just gone 2, 3, 400% return. And that's very likely because of Vega. Volga just basically says whatever Vega is saying, it's just going to get worse or it's going to get better, right? So the most dangerous view, I'll tell you right now, like as a fun little sort of thing, is when you see red Vega and red Volga together. You do not want to sell premium when you see that shit. So for like me earlier on the day when I was selling calls, into a zone. Couple of things, right? I was selling calls rather than buying puts. I probably honestly should have just bought puts. But I was selling calls into a zone that had a very significant amount of, obviously, resistance just from liquidity, but also VIX was getting very dangerously close to that negative gamma of where customers were long those call options. So the fact that Vega kind of was getting a little bit thinner on the books, and even with Charm kind of moving up into like its more dominant buying zones, they kind of create these interesting effects. And then, of course, obviously, when the market slingshotted back up, VIX futures give this huge beluga whale, just basically sitting at that massive positive gamma node. And at the same time, too, if you look at the pre-market data, we're also running back into our 7370. Do you kind of see, guys, how these motherfuckers just kind of rig markets every single day? It is through the use of insider trading, but you can see it if you just look at these positions every single day. It takes a lot of work and a lot of understanding to kind of just go through this every single day, though, because it's quite complex. It's not super simple. Yeah, it's not nearly as simple that you actually think. It's very, very, very complex. But if you look at this stuff every single day, you will essentially be, quote unquote, guaranteed to almost always make really big money. Because if you know, well, hey, the probability of tapping just one gamma spot at 7370, well, you know on SPX this is positive gamma, so dealers are just going to naturally buy ES futures. But then you also know that on VIX, if you actually look at it as well too, right? Earlier this morning, that was also a positive gamma spot. This is basically what, 8 minutes after opening bell. So basically, 8 minutes after opening bell, you're going to positive gamma, right? So that's actually directional. And I know a lot of people sometimes are like, well, gamma's not directional. And technically, by definition, it isn't. It's just an area of liquidity. But the reality is, this clearly is directional, especially if these customers are massively short puts and they're short calls on volatility. So it's kind of tough to defend that idea sometimes, especially like, because like it's not a coincidence that the market goes to that spot on the index on SPX and says, okay, hey, we're going to sell some puts here from the pre-market data just to kind of set up the structure of the day. But then we're also going to be short calls over here on VIX. Is it really much of a conspiracy theory to say that gamma isn't directional, or is it more? Wow, dude, there's a lot of belugas trading on VIX futures. Jeb, there's a lot of belugas on VIX futures right now, bro. Like, we're getting very dangerously.
They fucked up my connection.
What did they do to your connection?
Bro, I don't know what the fuck they did.
What?
I just asked for fucking VIX futures, and these cocksucking motherfuckers took my connection away.
Oh shit. Okay. I don't know what they're putting in these Celsius drinks, but I feel like a retard. That is not good. So, Jeb, there is a trade here, I think. From looking at positioning, you can kind of start to kind of factor in what you think could happen. So think of it like this. If the market today, I think that this could happen today. If VIX is willing to go, let me look at this from Charm. Hold on, let me look at this from Charm. Let me see. Oh, shit, that's perfect, actually. Oh, thank God I'm looking at this on Charm. Oh, hell yeah, boy. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, Jeb, there's a huge support for this new idea that I actually have here. I'm actually going to take a picture of this. I'm actually going to put this on Twitter. This is huge, actually. So, I really love this idea now. VIX at 18 and a half. Charm chart here. If we get there, I'm loading the boat with puts. Oh, baby. Give me them puts. Give me them puts, boy. Give me them puts. Yeah, because that, Jeb, let me send you the screenshot here, man, so you can kind of see it. This is the Charm map of VIX, right? So green, obviously, for very simple purposes that we have set up on the site, is where volatility is passively bought, right? That's the idea behind it. It's more of a drift more than anything, meaning like it's not necessarily super aggressive in terms of how accurate it can be, but because usually like gamma is much more significant. Interesting, yeah, because it's all mostly net negative gamma until you go way down there, and then there was one tiny pocket of positive gamma today, and that's probably why these guys got their bailout buy back in the marketplace today. Because more than anything, it's probably just. And let's see, Volga is still very dangerous, and same with Vega today. So this market can absolutely blow up if they go down there. Jeff, there's a really, really crazy, interesting idea that I'm kind of getting right now in my mind. If the market goes low enough today on VIX, like if VIX just crashes today down to 18 and a half, and let's pretend that there's a huge mother of pearl beluga that just decides to say, "Ooh," when they just jump into the marketplace. This could be setting up for like one of the biggest market sell-offs that we've probably seen in a while. This could be a big one. I don't think we're out of this volatility just yet. I think that VIX is really telling the story here. Let me see. Wait. So it's negative 2 million long calls, long puts. That's probably where I would do it. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you compare that to index hedging, you're just kind of like, okay, this is only bullish for right now. Charm is a drifting agent. It's not the agent in the stock market. It's a drifting agent. So Charm is like 30 futures every 5 minutes right now. That's not a lot of futures to buy in if you're a market maker. Really what it is it's the gamma exposure that's extremely dangerous because technically, Jeb, I don't know if you're, oh wait, no, Jeb, never mind. Technically, Jebediah, the market always wants to go and find the path of least resistance, where the most amount of hedging is not required. Sometimes that can literally be the center of literally negative gamma. So there's a massive amount of negative gamma exposure below current market right now, and that's extremely dangerous. Because I think what can happen here is, I think where VIX wants to go is probably above 20. I think VIX wants to try to take out 20 by tomorrow. And today's movement is really just them kind of hitting a bailout a little bit from volatility because of the positioning. But my best guess here, kind of looking at things a bit, is, let me see. Hold on, let me fix this. Maybe it's concealment. No, there we go. My best guess on things here is, yeah, my best guess would probably have to be something up in this area. Where did we trigger the crash from yesterday? 74.50, right? Let me think. So if we triggered the crash yesterday from 74.50, why not trigger it again, but from 74.75 this time? That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. Ah, Mr. Goose is here. But yeah, so that's where I would probably do it from. Is, I'm telling you guys, like, if you just look at the positioning data, like I said, once again, if you just kind of go back on the day in terms of how SPX is kind of setting itself up, you can kind of see, like, especially with the 0DTs, like I said, opening bell kind of running into that issue here with this positive gamma, that's not enough to really kind of go and say, let's, skyrocket to the moon. But it's enough on ES futures to say, okay, we know that dealers are going to start buying ES futures. But then the real thing here is, if you actually look at VIX positioning, you kind of run into the same level of positive gamma, right? This is GX, right? Yeah. So it's almost like, as VIX itself runs into positive gamma, and ES futures run into positive gamma from the 9:20 a.m. ES snapshot. So without updating the data throughout the day, you can kind of see basically where the entire market itself is just like, no, we're going to buy. And then boom, the first response is time to buy. But then the problem is, obviously, as you get closer towards this negative gamma zone down here, this is where VIX is long those calls. And then you kind of get this sort of convexity a little bit up here with the 74.10 spot on 74.40. That one's kind of hit or miss in terms of them being hedged long calls on SPX and hedged long on VIX. But it's still dangerous enough to kind of trigger the sell back down. But then where things, like I said, get really interesting is you just kind of play the day forward, is you can see the massive beluga whale right here on VIX futures. And guys, like I said too, this is all also available on Spyglass. We have basically all the things here. Just go to spyglassedge.com and you can basically sign up and do these things, right? So I'm going to give you guys the link. You can sign and see all of them. Now, this is different because this also has Vega and Volga, so this is kind of like my own personal thing that I'm just kind of using a little bit. Honestly, I just go back and forth at this point from that to this, because the dark pool on this is extremely, extremely helpful. Like today, I'll show you guys that there was a really cool trade that I saw over here on SpyG. This one was pretty big, right? SpyG had a nice dark pool sweep right here. I thought that this was pretty cool, because I noticed that I was like, all right, so somebody's obviously taking a big dark pool sweep trade, and at the same time, there's a huge beluga, right? So you can kind of start to put two and two together, but it's difficult, guys. Like, this game is very difficult, and like, even for me, like, I'm happy to sit here and just watch and watch and watch and watch and watch and take very safe trades of like, okay, maybe I'll sell a call spread, or maybe I'll sell a put spread, or maybe I'll, trade a future, whatever. Especially nowadays with this negative gamma, I think the negative gamma is like really dangerous, because if you make one bad trade, you're basically blowing up, and that's not fun. That's not ideal. But like I said, what's really interesting about all these things is you put it all together and it starts painting a really accurate, perfect representation of the market every single day. And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff, isn't really being taught, or if it is kind of being taught, it's locked behind a decent paywall. So it's not like $150 or something relatively cheap. The other people that do this are charging like $300 for it, which isn't actually bad. It's actually pretty good given how expensive the data is. But I don't know if a lot of people actually kind of talk about these things, even like with Vega and Volga, because Vega and Volga, they're definitely not directional. They actually kind of behave like Gamma in a sense of a way. Because Vega, like I said, Vega is just the sensitivity. Like you can always just hover over here if you're ever confused of what it is. Vega is literally just telling you dealers are long vol or short vol on the SPX options, not VIX, SPX. So it's dangerous. Think of it like this: it's dangerous if it's red. It's safe if it's green. And Volga is the convexity or the concavability of that Vega. So it just says, hey, if Vega's in the red, the market is very dangerous right now, both ways. It doesn't matter if it's up or down. And if Volga is red, that's also extremely dangerous because that means whatever the move is, it's just going to be intensified and amplified to that direction. It's really relatively interesting. And Master Jebediah was actually the one that kind of helped this. Isn't that right, Jebediah?
Absolutely.
As your lead, Arbiter. Oh, I hate these Celsius drinks. Honestly, but yeah, I mean, all that this really does at the end of the day is it just kind of gives a very phenomenal edge in terms of understanding what markets will do. And these little white things, like I said, we also have that over here too. It's the same thing. Um, it's actually kind of funny. I'm almost wondering if actually these ones over here are actually a bit more accurate. And a little bit more informative because these ones over here come from the DX feed. So I didn't know this, but they actually publish spread trades too on ES Futures. So technically, there's more volume trading over here than there actually is trading over here. This thing is a level 3 CME data stream. So this is just telling the live market without the spread trades that are happening off the books and then just being reported to CME like 5 minutes later. This is actually showing every complex trade that ES Futures is giving. To me that's so interesting that there's no belugas on ES Futures that were willing to take the bottom of the markets today, except for on micro E-mini futures. So that's how I basically have it set up. QuantNug is micro E-minis, ES Futures, SPX again to get the Vega Volga look, and then VIX Futures. It's a very, very, very complex setup, and it takes a lot of energy and a lot of strain just to kind of look at these things. Because, like, you can see, in Jebediah, you can probably chime on this a little bit too. MES futures are extremely liquid. They're much more liquid than ES futures. The difference is in leverage. MES is 10 to 1, and ES futures is the full 1 to 1, right? So if you're doing a massive 4,134 micro minis at 74.35, I don't know, off the top of my head, that's like, let's see, 4,000. Let's just pretend it's like $20 million, right? Well, on ES futures, that would be a notional of about 200 million, not the actual like one contract times the 250,000, just in terms of like the marginal buying power, depending on whatever it is that you wanted to buy or sell. And it's interesting because there's a lot of theories floating around that. Like if I wanted to buy, let's see, 4,000 micro minis right now. Okay, so it's about 12 million. So that means it's 120 million on ES futures. I feel like Jeb, this is like where my conspiracy gut kind of starts tickling a little bit. I don't know, man. Micro minis are so much more accurate than ES futures these days. Like, I don't know, dude. MES futures just has like the liquidity for some reason, and I don't know why. And ES futures just doesn't sometimes. Like, I don't get why they would be sort of arbitrarily putting more perfect bottom ticks and top ticks on micros rather than the actual E-mini. That I don't understand. I can't figure that out to save my life. But I know this on VIX futures. I guarantee you, nobody's fucking watching that shit. Nobody's watching VIX futures. So that is definitely where the leverage is going. I mean, VIX futures are huge. This morning we saw 835 of these things trade at that beluga. And I was like, literally the entire day is about to be dictated by that trade. That's like literally one of the biggest belugas of the day, like right here. Yeah, it's 816. And what's even crazier, check this out, guys. What's even crazier if you go back to yesterday's belugas. I can't believe I missed this. I'm so mad. Like, I literally, guys, there was a $1 out of the money put option. Jed, did I tell you? Put options yesterday when this beluga came in. There was a 0DT on some of these out of the monies that went from $1 and it closed at 86 in the money. Do you realize that that's like basically saying I'm gonna put $3,000. I'm gonna put $3,000 on a put option, and by the closing bell, you're worth $245,000. I mean, that's insane. That's insane. You can change your bum ass life in one trade by literally just looking at volatility and saying, okay, well, there's a beluga down here because the positioning was obviously extremely bearish yesterday. And like, look at this shit. I can't believe I missed that guy because like usually I always have this up. What the hell was I doing yesterday? I think you know what it was, Jeb. You and I were looking to get short around 74.50, and then you were like maybe, but then you were like, never mind. And then you went to go take a shower, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm done. I guess I'm good. I can't believe like I didn't even see that shit.
I know. I left too early because it was a Delta divergence, so I wasn't. I was
Like, dude, literally, if you stood around for not even 7 more minutes,
like 5 minutes.
It was about 7 minutes, and same with me too because I wasn't even like at that point. I checked out when you went to go shower because I was like, all right, well, but then, dude, like 852 VIX futures, you don't see those kind of orders come in with that type of position. You just don't, and like. It's the same thing with today. It's like 852 down here at the bottom, market blows up. And then it's the same thing today, like 852 at a positive gamma level, the market blows up to the upside. It's like, it's a rigged business. And like the positions tell the story. And then this guy's pretty decent here, 635, but I don't think that's where they want to buy. I think the level to short is right here. I think at 18 and a half, Jeb, if VIX futures start getting into this area, I would highly recommend buying puts for tomorrow. I would highly recommend doing that. Hell, I might do it myself. I'm probably going to sit here and say, give me the out of the monies for $5 freaking that expire in one day. Let it ride. Let it ride. Take the dice and gamble that shit. Yeah, no, I mean, because if that ends up leading to a fall blow up, we'll go from 18 and a half to probably back to 20. That's a huge hedged level. Dude, you could blow up volatility tomorrow from 18 and a half to like 22. Like there's positioning that goes as high as like up here. I know it's not being shown because it's like literally just the top 5. You see actually, yeah, VIX usually doesn't have many positions on it, honestly, that are, whatever. But, yeah, like I said, what's cool about this platform is it's given me the ability. So this is all being paid for by somebody else. I'm not paying for any of this, and it's extremely expensive data, right? Like it's index data, which from SIBO is a freaking arm and a leg, and then it's also ES level 3 data, which is directly from CME, and then VIX futures is from the CBOT, so it's SIBO data, right? Their SIBO futures product. I wish I had millions. I wish I had millions. I mean, I see why this game is like literally kind of a sense of like pay to win. Because if you understand these things, then at that point it just basically becomes all about probabilities. It's like the world's greatest casino when you get the perfect setup. I mean, right now we are basically, Jeff, we are literally as of right now having the most perfect setup in the world for taking a trade. And the market is just probably waiting for VIX to show up. When that VIX trades, game over. I think this is going straight back down, probably 100 to 200 points into tomorrow's close. That's my guess. I don't think there's any way that these guys are actually bulls, because even from the war stuff yesterday, fundamentally, I think he knows that inflation is a problem, and honestly, from kind of like reading the transcript of it, I think what he wants to do is they actually want real yields to go up, because they don't have a way to combat inflation right now. So this is a little bit more fundamental. So I actually think, dude, today on a day, Jeb, I think everybody's once again just selling. I think that's why the market went pump and dump. Let's bail out because of VIX positioning. But if you actually look at these orders, like, bro, look at this. Who the heck is playing 4,000 micro minis, Jeb? Who's playing 4,000 micro mini futures at 74.36 and the market does a pump and dump? And then we just go above that later in the day. Like, that's not a bull, that's a bear. That is somebody getting out of the market. I don't think that's anybody getting in. But the way they do it is... The way they do it... Let me see, let me actually get back in here. Yeah, so the way they do it is... Back it on Discord. So the way that they do it is There we go. Let me just go like this. Excellent. Yeah, so the way that they do it is they take these big trades ahead of time, Cheb, and then they play them out after the market makers and after all their rotations and their rotisserie chickens have cooked and all that other stuff, in my opinion. So, like, I think that these guys, I mean, just look at this dude. Show me the belugas that are buying the dip today. I don't think that there's any belugas actually taking this on lows and saying, let's keep getting long. I think everybody's actually trying to sell. And I think that this is just market makers just moving the market based on their positioning itself. I think that's probably what's really going on today. I think it's just from pure market making, and that's just because of the index positioning with the VIX positions. So wait it out, see if there's a really scary beluga willing to go on VIX futures today, if we can manage to get down there, and then that's probably the play. These guys are hedged up like crazy. There's just no possible way that the markets are not in trouble, especially after yesterday's whatever you want to call that crap. VIX going from, what was that? Wow, 17 and a half. And as of now, it's basically 18 and a half. Wait, which we are... wait a second. Hold on. There's VIX. Why is this showing completely different positioning now that it's snapped to it? So their short puts at 17 and a half, and the long puts right there. I guess I'm a little confused. Hold on. I think there's a bug on the front end of this shit that I gotta look into now. Hold on. Anyways, yeah, 18 and a half should be pretty good, but why am I seeing two different positions here on VIX and VX futures? Like, what the hell are these strikes? This is a completely different map. Completely different. It's hot. And these Celsius drinks are just not good for you. I got it as a gift. Got it as a gift. I love not having to pay for things. I'm always willing to take a gift. You know, the one thing I hate about this business is... So first of all, what the hell are these two completely different data sets? Because this is saying 18 and a half, but VIX is below 18 and a half. I'm just like, wait a second. And then I'm looking over here and I'm like, huh. Do you think that... Jeb, here's a question. Do you think that they're playing VIX strikes based on VIX futures pricing? No, that makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they play VIX strikes based on VIX futures pricing? Like, how's it being set up at the moment? I gotta ask Claude. That's really bizarre. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait, all the VIX levels on VIX futures are pretty perfect today. And I'm looking at VIX and I'm like, wait. Huh? Because VIX is 19. It doesn't make any sense unless if it's a front-end bug. I wouldn't know. This is on Claude, not me. Let's see. That is interesting, because I thought that I fixed it. I guess maybe I did or didn't. Well, look. It's basically suggesting the same exact thing, but it's a different place level. So literally, if that's where they're massively short. Oh shit. Okay, so then the trade still stands. If VIX is actually in danger mode above 17 and a half, going back to this massive positive gamma level is like a magnet. It's so nothing changes. If there's a massive amount of positive gamma from short puts on VIX, which I guess, then that basically is still the same thing. Massive positive gamma down here will likely lead to VIX buying back. So it's technically the same thing that VIX futures are showing here. Just seeing two different things. Yeah, because technically if you go down half a point, it's the same level trigger at 18 and a half that it is on the VIX spot. So that's interesting. It's probably like a front end. See my checks on that. So yeah, it's probably like a front end issue. I don't know. Stupid thing. Let's see. Am I out of Celsius? I'm out of Celsius. I'll be right back. I shall return, Jebediah. Jebediah, take over and let me know when you get VIX futures going.
I'll do it in these batteries.
I'll be right back.
It's fucking.
Alright, back. I just remember last time when I said that there should be a market crash from a VIX level, I called it out and I was completely right, but I didn't even take the trade. I completely forgot about it. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. Stupid thing. Alright, what is it called today? What is this dumb crap? That's really weird. Because this is basically saying, yeah, it's the same exact thing if VIX falls too low. Is this gamma? What about charm? Charm on VIX is never anything. Jeb, I'm not kidding. This market can really start to collapse into tomorrow if you go back into that positive gamma flip. Wait, let me think. Oh, shit, that's actually kind of huge. Oh, that's actually huge. Yeah, but we might actually have a huge trade potentially. God, and I'm so strapped for cash right now. I gotta do this. I should definitely do this. I want to take it so badly, but I'm like, dude, how do I maximize my return on this? It's all about getting that massive return percentage. How do you maximize your return on a trading idea like this? That would be crazy. A volatility blow up. It's been a while since I've seen that shit on VIX. I mean, think about it. VIX is literally the last time I ever saw this. Actually, when was the last time I actually ever saw this on VIX? Last time I saw this was that day where the market opened and we went straight down 110 points within the first hour of trading because the gamma flipped. We were literally opened in negative gamma on VIX, and then VIX said, "Oh hell no," and then the market just went straight down because of volatility. It was a vol blow up. What day was that? The last time I saw this crap. Yes, it's real VIX positioning, dealer positioning, and VIX index options stored under VIX, not SPX data, not derived, not faked. I got no picture. Source of your confusion and it's legitimate. VIX cash index, VIX front future, VIX option strike, drawn, add face value. Front futures trading +1/3, so the walls sit about a point up from where the chart's trading. That's deliberate. Same VIX offset, hard reset 0. We used to shift strikes by the line VIX to VX basis, so VIX 20 drip 20.21. And you caught that and called it wrong, so it changed to face value. The trade-off here, seeing now is the flip side. The label is honest, but the instrument underneath is the same as the strikes that dominated. VIX options never reference VIX cash at all. Huh? They're European and wait. I knew that. Why didn't I? Expiry is priced off the VIX future of the same expiry. That's also the only thing a dealer can hedge with, since you can't trade the cash index. So overlaying VIX scan on a VIX futures is conceptually the right chart. Problem is, which future? Today's book has 7 different expirations. Each reference a different VIX contract at a different price because of term structure, and we send them all to one axis. That's strike 25. All you see at 7 minutes. 65% of the growth gamma sits on August 19th, which is the August monthly. The front contract view candles are showing. So most of it is on the right, on the line, but roughly a third is September, October gamma represent futures that trade meaningfully higher. One thing I think is a genuine bug. I check both paths and they disagree. The walls do respect the DT filter. The heat map surface ignores it completely. So the VIX tab with the DT filter on anything other than set to all your walls and heat maps are showing different subsets of the book on the same chart. It is quite literally 2 data sets, and it's one thing rare called broken rather than just confusing what it suggests. Okay, so go ahead and fix the VIX heat map stuff. That way I can really see the gamma slash trend heat maps. If you're telling me that the VIX gamma levels are being laid correctly onto the VIX futures prices, and there is something meaningful there, then I'll be okay with that. What the F? Because VIX is to VIX. That doesn't make any sense. VIX is literally to VIX. Huh? Right? I mean, literally, VIX is to VIX. Unless if Claude is retarded on this one, I don't know. VIX futures. It's a completely different map, but... Oh, no, it is showing the same premise. It is showing the same premise, right? Yeah, it is showing the same premise. Interesting. Huh. So I was trying to say VIX is basically getting ready to flip. But that doesn't make any sense. It was less certain than I made it sound. That doesn't make no sense, no. That doesn't make no sense. They're literally hedged up on calls, and then there's this massive spot at 17.5. I'm trying to understand this. So, yeah, it's literally just like SPX to ES futures. You overlay SPX levels on top of the ES futures, not the exact fucking face value of these levels. Why am I drinking this Celsius crap? Did you figure out VIX futures, man?
No.
What? It shouldn't be that hard. Yeah.
No, it's not. These fuck sticks. I don't know what the fuck they just did.
What did they do?
I don't fucking know. I'm using Thinkorswim right now.
Thinkorswim is the way to go. I've always enjoyed Thinkorswim's free data. Their platform has improved massively over the years, for sure. I remember I used to use it 6-7 years ago, and it would always crash. It had so many issues. Well, look, according to VIX, huh? Let me go back in time. Show me the 935 book. I'm trying to understand this. So you're basically saying 19.5 on VIX is the same thing as saying 19.5 on the current VIX futures market? I beg your pardon. Because that rejection on VIX futures today is relatively perfect. I mean, maybe there's something there to it that I don't know about. I mean, look, I'm not a VIX expert. I'm an SVX expert, but because VIX futures played it out pretty perfectly well, and then VIX itself is not really playing it out perfectly well today. Okay, what about 10 o'clock? Negative gamma everywhere in the market. I don't know about all that. Doesn't seem appropriate. No, there's no way that was correct. There's nothing down there on VIX. Getting ready to flip on positive gamma, though. That's interesting. There's the pocket. Well, they changed the positioning. Maybe that's why then they changed the positioning by shorting puts there. What's above that? Short pulls. Gotta be a front end bug. They changed the positioning by being barely short. What is that? Short falls. Huh. Oh, God. Oh, interesting. Well, we got some belugas. ES future is coming in here. Huh. So, this is basically saying that 19 became a positive gamma.
I'm wrong. Call you back.
Yeah, call me back, man. And then it turned into negative gamma, and then now there's this massive position down here. 17 and a half. Well, whatever the hell it is, it lines up pretty perfectly well with VIX. It lines up pretty perfectly well with VIX futures. Kind of surprised. Because if you literally just look at the data here on the day, this tells a completely different story. This is basically saying that that level is more so positive gamma, the 19 and a half. VIX futures trade pretty perfectly there. Then they run literally right to where there's negative gamma. That would make sense. Why it runs is correct for deeper reason. Alright, it's telling me it's correct. So, okay. A VIX option and a VIX future of the same expiration both settle to the exact same number. At the exact same instant, VRO expiry morning. That's an identity, not a model assumption. Three things follow. The thing that prices a VIX option is the VIX future of its expiry, not VIX cash. Put call parity on VIX options recovers the futures price, not spot. Well, I guess you learn something new every day. You can trade VIX cash. A dealer hedging VIX option delta has no choice but to use VIX futures. Well, obviously. Therefore, a strike 20 VIX option is at the money when VIX futures is at 20, not when cash is at 20. Interesting. How did I... So it's different for ES futures than to SPX. That's really interesting, guys. Like, the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, well, I mean, I knew that they hedge VIX options with VIX futures, but I didn't understand. I didn't actually realize a VIX 20 literally represents a VIX futures 20 because of the same expiration of the VIX future contracts. That's really interesting. I didn't know that. The more you know, right? Interesting. So they're not actually playing VIX here. They're playing literally the VIX futures market. In terms of like these options as well too. That's really fascinating. So even if VIX is like, let's see, so VIX right now, wow, that's actually really interesting. See, I'm not a vol expert, but it seems like I definitely need to start becoming one. I'm gonna get some water as I wallow away in defeat. I'm gonna wallow away in defeat. The fuck? What? I did not know that. I did not know that. And don't call me a VIX quant. Call me an index SPX quant. You can't trade at VIX cash. Yeah, I know that. I mean, I know these basic things, but. Okay, basically, to draw that wall 2105 lower options, not at the money. Your instinct to back in was correct for a better reason than the other one. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Wait, so that means it's actually correct because VIX yesterday went to 17.5, and that basically represents 18.5 on VIX futures. Huh. Okay. That kind of makes sense, I guess. Who the fuck is calling me? Give me 1 second here, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. That was Father Goose. Father Goose. He was just wanted to tell me some things about Elon Musk or whatever, and I was like, okay, something like that. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Did that.
My thing is working.
Oh, did you get it working?
Yeah. They just I clicked so you have to execute bundles. I have to click.
Very good, Jebediah. Very good.
Hey, sir.
This guy's looking for a quant.
Now I am. Once everything updates, I will look at fixed futures. Holy God Almighty!
Like, this is pretty funny. Somebody's like, "We're looking for a quant," and they're like, on one of the interview questions, they're like, "Do you hold any professional certifications or designations?" And I'm like, well, now that you mention it, a master's in finance, a bachelor's in nuganomics, and a certification in programming. No, honestly, wait, the trade is 76. I'm just reading this VIX stuff. VIX breaks because you cannot buy and store VIX. There's no cash and carry. Yes. Interesting. Yeah, literally, this is exactly what I do.
Why is it just one big ass candle?
$4 an hour. How the hell? What the fuck? What? What is that? The hell? Yeah, some of these things are kind of cool. Did Citadel just rug pull? Probably.
I don't see fucking things.
It's time to play it, bro. My goose cousin. What the fuck, goose cousin? Goose cousin, did someone wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Jeff, I feel like some of the geese in the group are going absolutely ballistic. Like a couple of the geese have been at each other's throat lately, and it's kind of interesting.
Bitcoin. I don't want fucking Bitcoin.
Okay, so I guess it's correct. 65% of the book reference exactly that. And this is literally just mathematical modeling of things. I mean, you're literally just modeling out how dealers and market makers have to trade based on these positions. I mean, it's extremely sad.
What the fuck is a network class?
Jeff, the whole time I'm just sitting here going, yeah, you know, that could be a good trade. Oh, I gotta learn about VIX. Oh, I'm learning about that. And literally on the phone, all I hear is, man, these fuck sticks are just, and I'm like, what the F is this? What the F is that? What is this damn thing? What is that damn thing? Like, you're just like having a tough time over there.
Pretty good. They fucked up, bro. This is some bullshit.
What did they, just to get VIX futures? Why is it that much of a pain?
Fucking VIX futures. Is it that much of a fucking secret?
Oh my gosh. That's kind of funny. Let me see. stack AI engineer. Holy crap. Dude, you know what's super crazy? There are some really interesting gigs.
What the fuck is this thing fucking?
Dude, this hedge fund is willing to pay an AI quant engineer $450,000 a year to build some shit for them. That's interesting.
Man, where's the market at? 74.51.
It's not doing anything, Jeb. We've got another.
No, that's not. Is it at 74.51?
Yes.
Okay, these fucking cocks.
What's going on, man? What's going on, man? Can't be that bad.
Man, how the fuck do I have this big ass candle here?
Goose cousin heard you, and is like, Jeb under the water. Jeb is underwater. No. I'm just reading. I'm just reading this stuff.
God.
I'm reading this stuff about like AI and whatnot. It's an interesting article on like some things with AI stack engineers and stuff. It's kind of interesting. Like people are literally like doing everything with AI these days, and it's like, whoa, interesting. It's pretty interesting.
What the fuck is fucking wrong with you?
Oh my gosh. What is going on? Interesting. Your product catalog. Huh.
Turn this goddamn thing up.
Yeah, because I was just kind of reading into this hedge fund that blew up today, which is relatively interesting. That's pretty cool.
I just want fucking VIX future. Too hard to fucking act. And why the fuck is this big ass candle here? I have RTY. Right?
Wow. Huh. Wow. These look ideas is what messing everything up. Space industry, we have perception might happen and then it won't. Screw you. I know. Yeah, you know, learner, that's what is this stupid shit? Workflows, 9 of token conclusions. Found 2 things
What the fuck is it?
Largest single value? The VIX charm book is effectively empty. Okay.
What the fuck is this?
Joe, show me your screen, man.
No. Hey, what the fuck is a milk class? Drink fucking milk? Are we the fucking milkman? Milk futures. Come on aboard.
You know, it's actually funny that you said something about milk futures because remember that hedge fund guy that was in our group? Oh, I never told you about him. There's another guy in this group named the Fulcrum. He literally made a white pages paper on milk to ES futures ratio. And everybody was like, WTF is this crap? And he was just like, if milk is down, ES is usually up. This kid's running a hedge fund and he freaking said some crap like that. And everybody was like, what? I mean, hey man, if you're right, you're right. I'm not gonna judge you for milk to ES futures trading.
Bullshit.
surprised too that there hasn't been anything on Dark Pool as well either.
Yeah, I got the Volatility Non-Pro, then he fixed X, and he got out. Where the fuck is it?
Did you type in /VX? It's probably what you're missing. If it's not /VX, then try $VX, and then just ask Google or ask Gemini, like, hey, what's the VIX futures?
No, I would have followed him. I'm like, you just got to follow me. I should have this shit. Gave me the goddamn VIX, even though you fucked up my fucking charts, and now you're fucking up the VIX.
It could be like $VX. Could be that. So wait, you can't find the ticker is what you're saying?
No.
It says SIBO Volatility VIX is now available. Oh. Type in parentheses VX like this. Parentheses VX parentheses.
That's a word. Still doesn't explain my damn chart. Why do I have one big ass candle like this?
Let me see.
Oh, you want to see it? Ah, show me.
Let me see this graph.
It was not like this before. And all of a sudden, you get this big ass candle.
Wait.
Literally, it was like just multiple candles. It was everything was going fine. Everything had fucking changed into this giant ass candle.
Hey man, maybe they're buying. You never know. Maybe they're buying.
Well, obviously they're fucking buying. They put up 30 points on this motherfucking candle.
I mean, they're probably buying. Oh, wait. Show me again. You might be looking at another VIX. You might be looking at a different ES Futures contract. Let me see. Let me see what this looks like. Is that just on ES Futures? MES U26. U26? Are we on the U expiration right now? I'll be the judge.
Yes, we're on 26 September.
Have you tried logging out and logging back in?
I already did that.
So you logged out and logged back in, and that's your tick chart, or that's literally the live price chart?
Live price, no symbols found. Go fuck yourself.
Wait, no way. That's literally the live ticker price chart right now? What is it saying the live price of futures is for you?
74.53.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
It was not. I know it's correct. It wasn't some big ass candle though.
Well, what it probably is doing is playing catch up because it probably swapped you over to the index to then ES futures or something.
But why the fuck did it do that? I didn't ask to do it. Last I checked, this is software. I'm paying for this motherfucker.
Let me see it one more time. Let me see where it's coming from. Where's that candle coming from? Let me see this. Okay, hold it. Where's the bottom of that green candle? What does that say? 74. So 7405?
02.
Okay, so 7402. And that happened how long ago?
11:32.
Eastern?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, bro, that's correct data. At 11:32, ES futures are trading 7402, and as of right now, they're 74.
It wasn't a big ass candle.
It is if you technically look at what the market has done since.
No, because I didn't set the fucking parameter like that.
Well, it's probably playing catch up, Jeb. It's probably playing catch up. They probably had an error on their server or something.
It needs to catch down, not up.
It's proper, man. It's playing catch up. I had, so that would probably be like a front end issue. I've actually run into the same.
I'm deleting cache files.
No, Chad, that's not gonna do it, bro. I'm telling you, man. Trust me. Trust me. What it probably is a bug in the electrical system, right? So like, I've had the problem on God mode where what used to happen is the candles on God mode when the market would close and settle at 2 p.m. Eastern or Pacific, then when the market would open an hour later, the candles would play catch up on ES futures, and there would be this huge skew of the data like that. It's a very specific front end issue. So it's a bug. You just have to tell them, hey, you guys have a bug in the software, because there's nothing you can do because it's not your software, it's theirs. But it is showing you proper data, and especially if it's coming from 1132, that's exactly what happened. The market did shoot up, but it's probably playing catch up because it doesn't have data for that. So it's probably a system cache thing or something where it's like, we don't have any data. So if you actually delete your cache...
Oh, so it is caching. So I'm deleting cache.
No, what I'm saying is if you delete your cache, it might actually not be correct because then you're deleting the only chance of memory that you might actually have. Or it might be the other way around. If you delete your cache, it might be your only chance of restoring the old data that you have. I don't know. Good luck to you, soldier. All I know is I want to be a bear.
Oh, this stupid ass shit.
I'm relatively surprised that VIX Futures is refusing. It is refuting to go lower. Oh my gosh, how many fucking findings?
Fucking boss.
Second finding, the VIX Charm heat map has no data in it. Interesting.
Nah, you want to do that fucking Delta bullshit?
Alright.
Fucking.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream now, guys. Got a couple things that I've got to work on here. But anyways, that's what this is.
You fucking.